We have a spicy story for you. Title of this story is Am I the Astronaut for telling my son's girlfriend to stay away from him because she is distracting him from his responsibilities? I, 50 male, am a single father to my son, 15 male. My then girlfriend got addicted to drugs and walked out shortly after he was born. She is no longer in our lives. My son has been making exceptional grades and he plays for his high school's baseball team. He's pretty good at that, though my opinion may be a little biased, LOL, anyway. That was until he started dating a girl, 17 female. They met when they were assigned as partners on a project, and I guess they hit it off pretty fast because this came out of the blue for me when I picked him up one day and he just said, "Dad, I have a girlfriend now." I was proud and excited for him that my son was finally becoming a man. I also had a remedial version of the talk with him. Can never be too careful. They've been dating for the past few months and they seem very happy together, but my problem is that my son's grades have been slipping. He's been skipping out on chores at the house and missing practice and games.
This is a single...
Yeah, it's a single dad. 50-year-old single dad, son is 15 years old. I'm not mad that he is dating, however, that should come after business, school, baseball, etc. So last week I told him that he's no longer allowed to spend time with her unless he gets his shit together, and he responded, "But Dad, I really like this girl." I told him, "That doesn't matter. If you fail and flunk out of school, I don't want you seeing her, and that's final." This is probably one of those, like, wish I would have said something different moments. He sighed and said, "Fine." I figured that was the end of it. Well, until yesterday when I come back home from the store and I found them on the living room couch together. He lied to me and said he would have a friend over to study. My son froze like a deer in the headlights. I told him to go to his room, and then I turned to his girlfriend. Now, I'll admit I might have been a little too stern, but I told her, "Get the hell out of my house and stay away from my son. He doesn't need this distraction. And if I ever catch the two of you together again, it won't be pretty for either of you." It's the parent of this other kid. Be like, "Don't threaten my child because your son lied to you." Then the waterworks started. She stormed out. I go upstairs to my son, who was already on the phone telling my mother and my sister his aunt and grandmother have always spoiled him. I take the phone and try to explain, but I get lectured for being too hard on him. He's just a boy, etc. I'm trying to keep my son from ruining his life before it even starts. If he fixes his grades and everything, he can see her again. So I figured it'd be best to get an unbiased third-party opinion. Am I the astronaut? Before we dive into the update, let's talk about this a wee bit. Okay. So, as a recovering helicopter parent, learning that your kids have to make their own mistakes. Don't give me that look. That look just said to me, recovering, question mark? I saw it.
No, I didn't think anything.
You thought it.
That's projecting.
Your face has captions.
That is true.
It's your listening face?
Yeah.
Learning to let your kids make their own mistakes is a really, really tough lesson for a parent to make, especially when those kids are teenagers. Gosh dang, that is tough. And they're so confused about the world and trying to figure out like which way is up, and they're feeling things and they don't know what the hell's going on there either. And it makes everything up here fuzzy and they start making stupid decisions. But talk to them, talk about the why, and talk about why they need to make the decision, right? Help them, guide them, be the lighthouse. Only be the warden when there's no other choice. Like, there is a point, I think, for me at least, where the warden would step in. Martial law would go into effect, but not at step 1 or 2. You know what I mean? Like, there needs to be develop an understanding, educate your son about why this is the wrong choice. Try to get him to make the right choice. Because if you take this route and you try to force him on it, exactly what's going to happen happens here, where he just hides it from you. They probably had a 3 for me based on 1. But yeah, ask on 1 for intimidating a teenage girl. Like, no, that's not okay. Here is the update. Okay, so first, I'd like to thank everybody for taking the time to give me this well-deserved, years-long, overdue attitude adjustment. I was an asshole in this situation. While I was right to be worried about my son's academic performance and his responsibilities at home, I will admit that I let my temper get the best of me, and I acted on impulse with how I handled this situation. Timeout. Green flag OP. Just learn to self-reflect, yo. BFD. Be like, okay, you're right. Yeah, I see it. I shouldn't have yelled at the girl. After talking to my son, it turns out they never told her he wasn't allowed to see her. No shit. She didn't know, and I should have gone to my son instead of taking it out on her. No shit. My job plus the past drama from my ex leaving are not stresses that I can self-manage anymore. I'm done lying to myself, and I will be looking into therapy soon. My son has invited her over for dinner later this week. I plan to apologize and explain the situation, and I'll try to work with him to have fair rules that will encourage my son to stop slacking off while also allowing him to spend time with her. You get more flies with honey than vinegar, and prohibition will only make my son lie and sneak around, which could lead to him doing dangerous or irresponsible things. I showed my son some of the comments, and he's been laughing his ass off at everyone roasting me, LOL. I may post another update this week after dinner if I remember. Thanks. Salute emoji. It's not often, I know there's other little updates in here too, but it's not often that you get somebody who on the first receipt of feedback is like, it's the complete opposite of my worldview, and it's right. It's rare. It's rare. I mean, he's got to be so confused about how to deal with everything, and he's a boy dad. We do have to remember that, right? Here's update 2. Well, folks, my son just told via text that he spoke to her at school and she has accepted our dinner invitation for tomorrow. Expect another update. Here's update 3. Before getting to that, though, I'm surprised her parents will allow her to go back unless they don't really know the whole story there. You know what I mean? Update 3. Hey folks, thanks for sticking around through this mess. All right, let's get to it. So my son brought her over for dinner, and the first thing I did was apologize to her, both for yelling and for telling her to leave. I emphasized that she was innocent in the situation and I shouldn't have reacted the way that I did. She accepted my apology, and now I feel a little less like a monster, LOL. I also fully explained the situation with my son slacking off, and she was extremely understanding. Turns out she's actually a pretty smart girl herself. Honor Society, 4.0, AP classes, etc. She had no idea. He lied to her too. Turns out my son has been, downplaying to her just how bad he's been slacking off. She's actually willing to help me hold him accountable. She has a car, so she'll start taking him to baseball practice and his games. It actually makes it easier on me, and it means they'll be able to see each other more after school while ensuring he actually goes. Plus, he's more motivated to go if she's there supporting him. That, and she'll also start helping him study so he can get his grades back up. Again, they can spend time together outside of school, but he'll also get his homework done. She joked and said that his household chores were on him, though. She draws the line at his dirty underwear, LOL. I like her. Coincidentally, that's where the teenage son also draws the line. Skid mark, dirty under. Should have just left that one alone. Okay. However, my son did agree to start doing better at cleaning up after himself around the house. You know, it really is amazing what can happen when you express your concerns through a discussion instead of a lecture or rant. It actually felt like my son was taking in and understanding what I was telling him instead of just, get a load of this, old man. And for some backstory about my son's girlfriend, turns out they used my house for their primary hangout spot because her parents don't like her relationship with him. Apparently, they were glad that my little outburst the other day scared her away, hopefully for good. I don't really know how to feel about that. That could be troubling. I was half expecting an angry dad to be on my doorstep. Whatever happened from there would be 100% on me, LOL. Anyway, I also told them that they were welcome to hang out at the house anytime, within reason, of course, and I don't want them sneaking around and getting into trouble, and if they ever need privacy, just to let me know, not directly, LOL, and I'll find a reason to be out of the house for a few hours, no question asked. Just be safe and smart. Try not to make me a grandfather until my pension is firing on all cylinders. Okay, I that's a little too understanding for me. I don't think any of our kids, I'm going to be like, just put a sock on the door and I'll know. Like, no, no. I'm really happy and proud of my son. I'm glad that he's starting to experience love for the first time. Once his girlfriend left, I half-jokingly told him, don't screw this up. She really cares about you and had a heart to forgive my ass after what I did. Thanks to the fine people on this subreddit for the advice and the course correction. So all things considered, I think the situation is resolved and all is forgiven. Thanks, folks. Well done, OP. Well done, OP. I like it. For the first part of this, OP, ask on 3 for how you handled your son. Ask on 1 for how you dealt with the teenage girl. You did get to a point of redemption here. I'm still gonna downgrade you the whole thing to ask on 3. I think you probably still have a conversation with her parents imminent, and it may be one that you want to initiate here. I don't know. You may need to get some more recon on them folks before you dive into that. But I think there's a potential complication there that that could negatively impact your son's future as well. So if you're being engaged and proactive here, I think that's something you can't ignore down the road.